from Studio 13 in California, you're listening to Wildcard with your hosts, John.
That's actually a good question. Like, do people come up and ask you for drugs at weddings?
Yes.
And Connor.
Can we get some viewer mail on this? I'm like 99%, but I'm worried that John might be right.
Now with 33% less suckiness.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Wildcard. Can you feel that, people? That feeling is love, because today is the wedding extravaganza. First, we check in with religious nutjob Lori Alexander and her blog about why she thinks the best wives are quiet and uneducated. Then we get some new information about the case of the unpaid wedding umbrellas. That's right, we update on a story that we told a while back, how my mother sold some things on Craigslist, and then when she didn't get paid, she hired one of the world's premier defense attorneys and didn't pay him. We update on that story. Then we interview DJ Fox, a nightclub and high-end wedding DJ from the Bay Area. He opens up about all his disastrous wedding stories that should make you feel a little better about your loveless marriage. So get ready to say I do for this episode of Wildcard. Connor, I know you'll be excited about today's episode because it is a wedding spectacular.
I'm already against it. If this is some kind of intervention to make me get married, I'm leaving the studio.
Is there anything that works as a better transition to go from probably one of the most manly men that we both know, U.S. Marine Captain Phil Downs, to go from his stories of his time in Iraq fighting for freedom to the wedding spectacular? I have to ask, you have been dating your boyfriend now for how long?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. And do we have wedding bells in our
This is an
future?
intervention, isn't it? You brought me out here to intervene on me. Unless you are Jeff Van Vaderhoofen, I'm not listening.
You're not listening?
To you. No.
About?
Anything related to me getting married or things.
Here's what I feel. I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong,
yes,
that the gay community has and I use this term as delayed, retarded.
Okay. You're off to a bang-up start.
I don't mean it in the sense of someone who has special needs. I mean that I believe the gay community has a retarded dating life. And what I mean by that is when you're in high school, straight people are kind of free to just date, have their high school flings, do their thing, and they get to college and they do the drunken hookup and that whole thing. But I feel like if you come out later, you still have to experience that kind of relationship maturation process, the time when you're really awkward, the time where you are real hoary, and there's the time, well, for you, that hoary period might be extended slightly. And then there's a time that you kind of settle down, have your big relationships, have your heart broken. Am I accurate at all that that's kind of delayed because you don't really a lot of times start your dating career until a little bit later in life?
Yeah, so if you can imagine all of your awkward and uncomfortable sexual phases from high school through college into your 20s, I went ahead and condensed all of those into the age of 33. Because I came out late. I was 32. But no, you actually are right. I mean, but for your borderline offensive choice of language, I call it sort of a protracted adolescence, and there's a lot of truth to that. Yeah,
protracted adolescence, retarded, pretty much the same words.
Sure, in John's head, yeah, I'm sure that all makes sense.
Don't you retard the timing on a belt?
On a car, yes, you do. That's not what we're talking about.
Would that be moving it forward, or would that be moving it backwards?
That would be moving it backwards. Whatever it takes to get you a ding, John.
One of the problems I'm dealing with here is on the wedding-tacular. It was very, very timely because my wife came up to me this morning and she goes, have you seen this blog post? And she shows this to me. I said, I'm going to talk about this because it is the wedding-tacular. Mm-hmm. This is a blog post by someone named Lori Alexander. It is called Godly Men Prefer Debt-Free Virgins Without Tattoos. So my first question is, person who bringeth the Lord.
Can I just interject there?
Yes.
Isn't virgin and without tattoos a little redundant?
I would agree.
If you have a tattoo, you're not a virgin.
Now, the author does say, I once contemplated a tattoo, but then thought better of it, thank God.
Whew.
Yeah. Satan almost got her there. That was a close one. She goes on to defend her blog. As many of you know, men prefer debt-free virgins without tattoos.
Oh, my God.
tattoos make you impure. You're destroying the skin that God puts you in, and that you need to learn how to be a submissive wife for your husband, and that debt is really born out of going to college.
So don't go to college.
Well, obviously not.
Okay.
If you enter out into college, then the world will teach you to think differently.
God forbid.
And this is a battle, in her words, this is a battle we must fight and win. Because God forbid you learn to think on your own. The influences of the outside world are very strong. Even those who are homeschooled and active in the church can fall to these influences. You don't want to get in debt because that means you've gone to college. So really what she's saying is do everything in your power to remain uneducated.
I think I'm starting to put 2 and 2 together here.
She also did a video about her book. So she came out with a book. She has a book, and it's how to be a submissive wife. And I think my favorite part is that she can't say the word submissive. Allow me to give an example.
And then I talk about how to be submissive, what submission looks like in a marriage, and how we're supposed to treat our husbands. I would give.
You would think that if you wrote a book about how to be submissive,
you'd be able to get that word down.
You could get the word out.
Oh, it must always be me because she's so godly.
She talks about how in her life, even though she went to Bible school and is tattoo-free and uneducated. Wow, I'm worse than her.
Go ahead and keep making fun of her elocution.
Even though she is tattoo-free and uneducated, and we can only assume was virginal on her wedding day.
And you say uneducated is an asset in this world.
Of course.
Okay, just want to be clear.
That even though she went to things like Bible school, she was still a see you next Tuesday as a wife.
Okay.
So she talks about her struggle with not being as good a wife as she could for Ken. And Ken is her husband, and Ken sounds like a real dick.
I noticed Ken. You know, the one thing I will say about her, she has a very soothing, mellifluous voice. Who wouldn't want to come home to that? Hey, Ken, I've just been here making my video blogs about submission.
Ken, I'm ready to subversition for you tonight.
Said he's never learned about how to be a submissive wife or keep her
She got
home
it right that time.
children.
Yeah.
And the main thing was just being a wife. So I'd go home and continue to be a rebellious wife. And so
What is a rebellious wife?
Back talk.
You're not a 4-year-old.
Learning things.
Rebellious.
And she talks about the pitfalls of trying to have a career as a woman and how your proper place is in the home to homeschool your children so that they don't get learned from the outside world.
I don't want to disparage the internet, but I will say there are a lot of crazy people on the internet. Does this woman have a following? Is her book selling?
I mean, she's got thousands of YouTube views.
Thousands?
Thousands.
Okay. So she's no Jake Paul.
No, she's no Jake Paul. And I feel like there's a little of a bait and switch, okay? Exhibit A, this is the woman that she says is a debt-free virgin without tattoos. She looks kind of like, remember the show Hey Dude?
Oh, yes.
She's now married to that...
Ben Stiller.
Yes. So she's married to Ben Stiller. Looks exactly like that. So she used a stock photo.
Of course.
Of what looks like a pretty young woman from Oklahoma who is tattoo-free. There's no indications of college education or her hymen.
And she... Okay. I wasn't expecting hymen in that sentence.
Well, virginal.
I don't know. I don't know if anyone's ever expecting hymen in a sentence, but that one really came out of nowhere.
If she's a good wife, you're expecting it.
Okay.
So that's the photo she used in How to Be a Good Wife.
Oh, you really distracted me there.
That's the actual Lori.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a bit of a bait and switch.
That is quite a bait and switch.
Lori Alexander, a blogger from Transformed Wife, recently unleashed her thoughts on why Christian women should carefully consider whether or not they should go to college. It's far from what God calls women to do and be. It teaches them to be independent, loud, immodest, instead of being meek, quiet spirits.
made him think that, oh, it must always be me because she's so godly. She reads her Bible every day and prays, and she goes all to these Bible studies, so it must be all my fault. But then I figure out that no, it wasn't all his fault. It was my fault because I wasn't respecting him and being submissive to him. So
One more time.
So.
You know, in her defense, though, you know there are some words that you put in a paper in college to try to sound important, and you've read it in books.
Why did you go to college, you heathen?
I don't, because I'm immodest and loud.
I'm going to go on a limb and say submissive should be kind of in the wheelhouse for any native English
Yeah,
speaker.
that's probably one that you should just know. You should know how to say that.
But let's not get off the fact that she had a marriage and it was full of conflict. And it took her many, many years to realize that she was the problem.
Yeah.
And
Well, God bless Ken for staying with her through all that.
allow me to play this one more time.
Okay.
Because she's so godly. She reads her Bible.
She was feeling bad for her husband, Ken.
Yes.
Because they were having conflict in the marriage. And Ken was taking all that on himself. He
Poor
was
Ken.
bearing that.
Yeah.
He was bearing that burden. Like Jesus, who walked along the sand. There were two sets of footprints. And then there was one set of footprints.
No, that's because when he was carrying her.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was Ken. Ken was shouldering that burden.
Yeah.
And she learned that was not Ken's burden to shoulder because she was a non-subversion wife.
But then I figured out that no, it wasn't all his fault. It was my fault because I wasn't respecting him and being submissive to him. Tongue twister word.
It's so good every time.
So anyway,
So I have a question and a comment, John. My comment is the name Lori. What are your thoughts on the name Lori?
Real estate agent from Orange County.
Uh-huh.
Drives a white BMW that's 3 years old.
Uh-huh.
2, maybe 3 kids.
See, that to me is Susie with an S-U-Z-Y. But fair enough.
Yes.
Here's my thing. When your wife brought this to your attention,
Yes.
clearly it was a test. And my question is, do you now go back to her and say, ha ha, wasn't that terrible, right? Or do you go, hey, there's some great ideas that Lori's spouting. I bought you a signed copy of her book. You should be more...
Look, honey, we need to learn that every problem in the marriage is the wife's fault.
You need to be less rebellious.
Yes, you heathen.
I feel like all Bible studies should be teaching women about their roles in marriage and in.
One of the things that Lori goes on to talk about is how you're not really a good Christian if you don't sit down and have a man teach you the Bible, because women are too stupid to understand it on their own.
Oh.
And so it's critical that you have instruction from a male.
I was at a Jesus-y wedding a few years back, and the pastor was reading the readings during the wedding ceremony, and one of them was like, and now a reading from the book of Matthew, chapter 18. I have no idea what it actually was, but the passage was, a bride should be obedient to the husband. And then he goes on for like 10 minutes trying to qualify and rationalize why that's an okay thing to read at the wedding. Like, well, by obedient, what they really meant was that you should have a strong will and not be obedient. I'm like, why don't you just not read that passage? Or I don't know, why don't we come up with some Bible verses that aren't so goddamn antiquated and offensive?
Yeah, let's not read the part about selling your daughter into slavery.
Right.
When you're at the wedding.
I mean, I would encourage people to sit down and read the book of Deuteronomy if you haven't done that recently. I don't know if you have. It's good nighttime reading. But basically...
Every Tuesday night.
Yeah. People be getting stoned for everything. If your brother's wife dies and you don't marry her, stone.
Wait, if your brother's wife dies...
No, I'm sorry. If your
how
brother...
could you marry a dead woman?
If your brother dies... Excuse me.
Was she one of those tattooed troglodytes?
She probably went to college. If your brother dies and you don't marry his wife, stoned. But if he's alive and you sleep with her, stoned. Basically, everything is like a Cypress Hill concert. Like, whatever happens, you're getting stoned.
Oh, I see what you did the alternate meaning of stoned.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ha.
In society and how they should wear and how they should behave and how a gentle and quiet spirit that's so precious to the Lord. So anyway, all that's included
I got to talk to my wife. She's clearly not exemplifying a gentle, quiet spirit.
Yes.
in my book.
And I appreciate that you say talk to your wife, not talk with your wife, because you talk, she just listens.
I'm sorry, talk at my wife.
Talk at your wife.
I'm going to sit her down on the floor. I'm going to get my belt, and I'm going to talk at my wife.
You can either buy it on Amazon, you could buy it in book form there, or...
What?
So
is that the book?
That is the book. Look at the flowers. Those flowers say, this is the path
That
to
is the
wonderful
book?
marriage.
That looks like the kids' menu at a Mexican restaurant. You know where they give you the menu and then a box of crayons?
Yeah.
I mean, she did a pretty good job filling it in. I'll give her credit there. But that's the book.
But she mentioned, I don't know if you heard it, but just now she mentioned you can buy the book on Amazon.
Oh.
And so, of course, my favorite place to read reviews, The book has 227 reviews.
Wow.
I know.
How many sales does it have?
Like 7. As a man, God-fearing and Bible-thumping, I love this book. I bought it from my ill-gotten heathen whore wife of 32 years. I sat her down and put the book in front of her, waiting and watching until she absorbed every last word. She was eager to read it. It didn't matter that I had a 9mm resting on the dining table. Now she obeys all of my orders. She's basically my slave, like Jesus would have intended.
Jesus would have intended.
The quality of my life has improved by leaps and bounds. And while I can't really understand what my wife is saying through the constant sobbing, I can only imagine its praise and thanks that I made her into the subjugated woman she has grown to be. Thanks, Lori. If you weren't a woman, I'd thank you. Well done, I be kidding.
I be kidding.
That's the only bad part about his review is his pen name sucks. This book saved my life. I accidentally swallowed some poison, promptly read the book, and vomited.
That's pretty good. That's nice and simple. You could use that really for most books.
It's to the point. You really can't go wrong. I agree that the wife needs to submit to her husband, be a keeper of the home, and raise the children as well. However, please do not learn these things from Lori. She is an egotistical, naive, and prideful soul. I have had interactions on Facebook with her, leading me to believe she is a false teacher. Her opinion is made with little research, our gospel truth in her mind. She does not have a teacher spirit. Please read your Bible directly.
That's Lori's competitor, Lisa. She has a competitive book. Women should not go to high school or use the internet alone by Lisa. Oh my God. This is kind of painful to think there's people like this out there.
My question is this. In your relationship,
yes,
how do you know which one should not learn and which one should not get the tattoos? I mean, it's hard to tell. In a gay relationship, do we know who is supposed to be the one at fault for all problems?
Jeffrey doesn't like me to answer questions without him pre-approving them.
Have you burned your college diploma and your bra?
Let's be honest, I never got one.
And just send, they're about $12 per book, or you can buy 2 for $20, and just send...
Her voice is very soothing.
It's very soothing.
She's very librarian. It's very disconcerting because she has the voice, not of a false prophet, as those evil Amazon reviewers say.
Certainly not.
But she has the voice of a calm, soothing, loving librarian that I might know in high school.
She'd be a great dental hygienist. Hey, I'm going to poke you with this metal prod now.
Connor, have you been flossing?
No, I haven't.
Have you been speaking to your boyfriend when not spoken to?
Money to PayPal at my email address, which is LAALEX2@AOL.com.
Of course it's AOL. And second of all, she not be learned good because she just gave her email address out on the World Wide Webs.
Yes.
I now have an idea. We need to write Lori Alexander an email.
So I think we need to do a Dear Abby kind of scenario. And I think actually your wife should write the email and say that she is having trouble and that the evil liberal media is trying to compel her to get a tattoo.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And learned.
Yeah.
I think I should reach out to her as a husband about a two-pronged problem.
Yes.
My wife be acting up.
Yeah.
And 2, I have a friend who I've been friends with for a long time, a man of the Lord.
Yes.
And he has recently admitted to me feelings of maybe being a homosexual.
Now, does she discuss that topic?
I'm pretty confident I know where she stands on that topic. I have a friend that has recently become gay.
Yes.
And as you know...
Not exactly how it works, but go ahead.
He is untattooed.
Yes.
Unlearned.
Totally.
And virginal.
Yes. Can I meet him?
And
I like him.
His question is this: which one of the two of them needs to be meek and submissive?
Okay, so...
because in a gay marriage, it's unclear who is the Ken and who is the Lori.
Lori doesn't take questions from evil heathens.
Good point. We'll never get an answer on that. What other gems of wisdom do you think Lori has? We should ask her more about problems with our family.
Also, our firstborn child was a daughter, which I'm sure was her fault. And now it's too late to send her back.
How about this? Also, we've always wanted a boy, but we've had like 4 girls.
Which is a catastrophe. Although, I guess I won't have to pay for college tuition. He came out as the gay.
And we move on. So, Connor, I know what you're thinking. How can this wedding-tacular get any better?
I'm excited.
So we've got coming up, we've got wedding DJ extraordinaire, DJ Fox, coming on later to talk about what it's actually like to be involved in the wedding industry and what it's like to deal with bridezillas and all that jazz. But we also have something that I want to talk about. When we were in Lake Tahoe, when we filmed our vacation pod with Captain Phil, one of the things that came up in conversation was something that happened on an earlier episode as well with Bradford, my lawyer friend who, gets all of the rappers and the Biebers and all these people out of jail. Here's a little clip from that show. I remember a story, and I don't remember how accurate this is, but I believe that on Bradford's illustrious list of clientele is my mother.
Yes, that is true.
It took him a second.
I almost forgot about that letter.
So my mom hand-built some sort of something for Judy and Mai's wedding. And she put a lot of time and effort into this thing. I think it was some sort of butterfly motif that hung from a ceiling. When the wedding was over, one doesn't have a good place for butterfly motifs, so she puts this thing on the Craigslist. Somebody on Craigslist buys this, but apparently the person agreed to pay for shipping and didn't, or let's just say she sold an item on Craigslist and there was a dispute over the payment.
I'm sorry, she retained the services.
Oh, no, retained would mean she paid. So anyway, my mom, out of nowhere, just, basically contracted this very high-powered lawyer to try to recoup her shipping fees.
Contract makes it sound way more official and payee than it actually was.
That is a very good point.
Guilted.
So, my mom heard the episode. She goes, that's not how it happened. That was a lot of money. It was over $1,000. Okay, yeah, but sounds like the story is still accurate. She's like, yes, but... And this is where she really throws Bradford under the bus because she goes, it wasn't the lawyering that got me my money back.
She got her money back?
Apparently she got paid.
Did she pay Brad's bill with that money?
No, of course not.
The good news is you got your $50 in shipping charges back. The bad news is Brad costs $800 an hour.
She wrote letters to them. And
to the buyers.
The letters had to be mailed simultaneously from different locations on the globe.
She told you this?
Yes.
Was she cutting different letters out of magazines like ransom notes? This is full on crazy.
Yes. And so I'm sorry, excuse me, back this train up. You mailed letters from all over the world. She's like, yes, because if all the letters had come simultaneously from the same postal district, they would have known they were all from me.
Well, don't you think the fact that they all dealt with the same $50 in shipping charges would indicate it probably all points back to that?
Probably.
My conclusion would be like, well, this person can clearly afford to pay the shipping because they're traveling the world or have houses all over the place.
She has friends from all over the world, like Denmark, the UK, the East Coast, all coordinate shipping these letters all at the same time.
Oi, pay me back my $50.
Here's the part I don't get is she said letters. And I'm now confident that they were mailed not just to the couple, but maybe members of the wedding party. Like maybe parents, best men, best
women. How does
women.
she have that information?
In addition to retaining the free services of one of the nation's highest powered defense attorneys, I'm confident that she hired a private investigator.
No.
How else do you get
hired or coerced into doing work for free?
Oh, I got to ask Bradford. Bradford probably has PIs that work for him.
Oh, God.
And she probably said, get me, not hire a PI or anything, probably just get me the addresses of the wedding party.
Oh, God.
So my guess is these letters came from around the world to all of the members of the wedding party. And they said, I don't know how you can enter into a marriage that is based on a lie.
That's what the letter said?
Yes. Basically saying...
The lie being... that you didn't pay the shipping charges for the umbrellas.
That you scammed a nice a nice homemaker out of the shipping costs for your wedding umbrellas, and that your marriage cannot possibly succeed when these are the types of people that you are.
Oh my God.
And that your wedding is based on a lie.
Side note, I'm going to be sending this same letter from all over the world to all of the guests of your wedding, whose information I have because I sort of didn't hire a private investigator.
That is fucking next level.
Remind me to never go into debt to your mother.
Yes. I am highly confident that they didn't pay you because they saw the error of their ways and didn't want their wedding to not be based on a lie. I'm pretty sure they were like, holy fuck, this woman is going to come skin us alive.
She's going to send anthrax to Aunt Sally.
She knows where I live. She knows who was in my wedding party. She's come after me with high-powered Floridian attorneys.
I am writing from Denmark to send you anthrax. What accent was that? I don't even know, but that's some crazy shit.
Yeah, you are owing the woman in California the money for the umbrella.
You should pay it now.
I have since asked if she has copies of the letter. She says no because they were written out longhand. Which means that she wrote the letters out longhand, which is super fucking creepy because no one writes a longhand letter. It's way more...
She wrote multiple copies.
Yes. It is straight Zodiac to write that shit out longhand.
Yeah.
And
I just envision her sitting up in the middle of the night with one candle flickering in her dark room, scribbling down multiple copies of these letters, and then stamping them with the family seal and sending them off to Denmark to tell her friend Svitzel, please send this to Florida. I have not supplied a prepaid postage envelope.
You know she made her friends from around the globe put the international shipping stamps on it. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. I mean, this is next level.
So here's what we need to do.
Okay.
Hear me out. We need to have the wild card trial of the century. And that will involve your mother with her unpaid counsel, Bradford Cohen, representing her.
Yes.
I believe I will be the judge because you're biased. And we need to unhire our own private investigator and find the phone number for the couple. The people who bought the umbrellas.
Okay.
And we need to get them on the show.
I like it. We need to reach out to them.
Yes.
Should we call Bradford right now and ask him about this and see if he has access to their addresses?
Yes, we should.
Okay. Hold on.
Is he going to bill us for this phone call?
Probably.
Yo.
Mr. Bradford.
J-Dubs, what's happening?
You are live on air with Wildcard right now.
Oh, I love it.
Can you hear Connor? Talk.
Can you hear me, Bradford?
Hello, Connor.
Please start the billing clock now and just go ahead and send the bill to John's mom.
I actually started the billing as soon as I saw the name on my caller ID. I turned the clock on. So the billing is going already.
Let's do what I do every time I have to talk to my lawyer, which is I talk super fast like the Micro Minis guy. I'm going to try to get this done in under 3 minutes.
That's the way to do it.
Okay, so here's the reason we're calling you. We are getting to the bottom of Umbrella Gate. I don't know if you know this. There have been items that have come to light, and we don't know how much you know.
Okay.
So after you provided the letter to these people, are you aware that there were subsequent letters mailed in a coordinated attack from around the globe, taking these people's integrity into question?
No, I had no idea. I did not know any of this.
Her stance was that if they all came from the same postal code, they would be on to her.
I love this coordinated effort. This is a real conspiracy theory.
Apparently, they paid her instantaneously, to which both Connor and I agreed that it's because they were fucking terrified of her, not because they actually, whether they owed the money or not.
They did owe the money. I can tell you affirmatively they did owe the money.
Can you tell us how much money it was involved here?
You know what? I don't remember off the bat, but I can say that it was not life-changing money.
Would you say it was worth someone's time to sit down, handwrite out 7 letters, mail them about the globe, and then have a coordinated offensive?
I would say that if you were anywhere from a UPS driver up, I would say it would not be worth your time to do that. She's a savage. Your mom's a savage.
So here's
that's why I get along so well with your mom and dad.
Oh,
Because
gosh.
they understand the way of the warrior.
I'm starting
There
to
is
think.
no surrender. There is no surrender.
There is no
and
surrender.
There is no mercy in the Willenborg dojo.
I'm starting to think that your mom is like Vladimir Putin, and she's got some dirt on Bradford, and he just does whatever she says.
She's the greatest.
We're convinced that she actually got the addresses because she shipped letters not just to the couple, but to other people in the wedding party so that she could inform them what horrible people the people that married are.
So amazing.
First of all, is that
Yeah.
a crime of any kind?
It is not, but if it was, I would
Okay.
never tell you.
Second
that.
of all, did she at all ask you to utilize the services of one of your private investigators to gain said addresses?
That would be attorney-client privilege.
That is a yes.
Oh,
I don't know what you're owing about. It's just anything that I discuss would be attorney-client privilege. I'm not admitting nor am I
that is
denying.
amazing.
That's a yes.
Now, do you have attorney-client privilege if she didn't pay you?
Good question.
Yes.
I thought-
always have attorney. If someone seeks legal advice, and this is good for all your listeners, if someone seeks legal advice, no matter if they pay or they don't pay, just the seeking of legal advice in itself creates an attorney-client privilege. That whole thing about here's $1 and you're retained that's all bullshit.
Follow-up
It means
question.
nothing.
Could you help me write some cease and desist letters to the 5 lawyers I've given dollars to so I can get my dollars back? Please note I will not be paying you.
Of course. I love it. Let's do it.
So, Bradford, here's what we're thinking. We want to track down this happily married couple.
Oh, no. I think that's a very bad idea.
Oh, no. It's
I think this is a horrible idea.
an excellent
That's
idea.
a fantastic idea.
We are going to stage the trial of the century
Yes.
here on Wildcard.
Yes.
We are going to bring in John's mom and hopefully you to represent her, and then we are going to be joined by the couple that refuses to pay their bill, and we are going to once and for all get to the bottom of this $20 in Craigslist charges.
I honestly think this is a horrible idea. And I think that I would leave well enough alone. I'm sure these people want nothing to do with your family.
Bradford, their relationship is based on a lie. I don't know if you know that, but Denmark said so.
Yeah.
I just find this to be a terrible idea.
Let me ask this real quick. Connor and I, we back and forth on this a little bit off air, and we are convinced here's what happened. It arrives there, and my mom goes, "Hey, where's my shipping money?" And the couple is like, "Hey, the ad said it was $1,000, and it didn't say anything about paying for shipping." This is our hypothesis. How correct are we?
I don't believe that's accurate, though. I honestly think they didn't pay for the actual good,
Really?
and not just the shipping.
Connor,
I
this
don't
is
think
not
that's
good. This
accurate.
is kind of vindicating my mom.
I mean, I don't remember it like it was.
It just
I don't remember it like it was yesterday. I mean, it was a while ago. But my belief is that they did not. Maybe shipping was part of it, but I think they didn't pay for the actual good.
See, this is why we're going to have the trial of the
we
century.
need to have the trial.
We're
of the
going to
century.
we're going to get to the bottom of this.
I don't. That's why I don't believe that's the way that it went down. Again, I could be mistaken, but I don't think that's the way it went down. I think they didn't actually pay for the goods.
Are you able to read the legally letter you sent them, or is that also attorney?
I don't think I still have it. Your parents probably have a copy of it. They probably won't give it to you.
You don't
but
keep-
They probably have a copy of it. I think I emailed it to your dad to give him a copy of it.
Now, Brad,
Wait, you
I-
don't.
I-
You don't have like multiple boxes in your basement of the.
No, he shreds everything. This is Bradford.
Good point.
He shreds and
I
burns.
shred every. I don't save anything. My name's not Michael Cohen. It's Brad.
Oh! Let's get a slow clap for that.
Yeah, I don't record anything. I don't save old letters.
All right, so let me ask you this, Bradford. As someone who has likely represented cold-blooded killers, on the scale of, say, 0 to Ted Bundy, where does my mom rank in terms of savageness?
I think she's a beast. She's a total warrior. She is not a woman you want to cross.
Oh, no, I love my mom to death, but God forbid
Yeah.
that you ever...
Oh,
She's not
I
a
love
woman
my mom.
She's not a woman you'd want to cross. And it seems like her memory is forever. Like she seems like if you crossed her 30 years ago, she probably will not forget that. And someday, like the Count of Monte Cristo, she will have her revenge. she will get her pound of flesh.
Well,
She's great. She's a total savage. I'm glad I cleared everything up for you guys. anytime you want to speak with me, I'm more than readily available. I try to take at least an hour of my day to waste time on friends. So it's built in. It's already pre-built into my billing for the day.
Well, shit, if we've got an hour, then
Yeah, let's go ahead and keep going.
keep going.
Yeah.
All right, I have one last question for you. In all your years of defending clients, have you ever organized a cooperative letter writing attack from around the globe to get a reduced sentence?
Yeah, I don't put that in writing. I threaten them. No, just kidding. No, we never threaten anybody. I leave that strictly for the Willenborgs to threaten.
You leave that to your clients. All right, Bradford.
Yes, I leave that to them. All right, guys. Good luck getting to the bottom of this.
I love that, man. All right, I'm being told we're running up long on a break, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, DJ extraordinaire, DJ Fox.
He's going to be on the ones and twos. I don't know what that means.
Wildcard is brought to you by
Coinbot. Access cryptocurrency pricing and market information right in your Slack or Telegram group. To add Coinbot for free to your group today, please visit coinbot.co. One more quick thing before we get back to the show. If you enjoy any Wildcard episodes, then go ahead and tell a friend. I know it may not seem like it, but this kind of drivel actually takes a lot of time and effort to cut together and to put out. So if you could share it with someone, help us grow. Also, please, 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 go to iTunes, take less than a minute to review the show. Just write up a few quick sentences, submit it. This is how people are going to find the show. Anyway, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, write a review. Can you say, hello, you're listening to Wildcard?
Hello, you were listening to Wildcard.
Every now and then I get a little bit terrified. I see the fucking look in your
There's just so much love in today's episode. Can you feel it?
Every now and then I fall apart. You're fucking every now and then I fall apart. And I need you now, tonight.
Nothing says old and cliche like pulling a clip from Old School. Connor, why would I be playing old school wedding music for this episode?
Because we happen to have a wedding DJ extraordinaire on the show today.
We are joined today by Chris Fox, who is a very popular DJ here in the SF Bay Area. Been working the nightclub scene and high-end wedding scene, which there are a number of high-end weddings. If there's something the Bay Area does well, it is rich white people stuff. Chris, thanks for being on the episode.
Thanks for having me.
So who is typically worse to deal with? Is it the brides or the mother of the bride?
The mother.
The mother?
And often the brother of the bride. For some reason, I've had a recurring...
Is that a younger thing? I feel like men are way more in touch with their feminine side and AKA way more obnoxious than they were in our generation.
Sometimes it's this weird older brother territorial thing. I had a toast one time. This guy's saying, well, I thought I was the only Todd in your life, until you met Todd. And it's like, hey, buddy, you're coming across as real creepy right now.
Also, I don't want any Todds in my life, much less a brother and a husband.
Two is way too
That
many.
is way too many Todds.
Most of the time it's the mother who's putting the
And what do they
pressure
pull?
on it.
What kind of stuff do they pull? Okay, so you've got a normal bride couple, and what kind of shit does the mom pull?
If I see the couple walking around to their tables, everybody wants to go visit their guests, but just letting you know, according to the schedule, we should probably do the first dances soon. And they'll say, all right, cool. Hey, 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, great. Just checking in. Mother of the bride is there saying, what is going on? And I'm like, well, I just, we're checking in. You better get these people dancing. I mean, you're going to lose this crowd. And I was just like, I looked at her and I'm like, no,
Thanks,
I'm
Karen.
not.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you better get them in here now.
Well, she was probably in the back guzzling wine. And how many weddings have you done?
I mean, I estimate I've probably DJ'd about 200. Like most anything you can think of, I've probably seen.
Of those 200, most commonly requested song.
It's more about what's the do not plays that are the most common thread, and that would be the obvious ones like Macarena and YMCA. I don't even own either of those songs. That's actually one of my selling points. I don't even have those. Let's talk about what song is going to remind you of memories I may not have any insight.
The time you found out Todd was Facebooking his ex-girlfriend.
Brother Todd was cheating on you with now husband Todd?
That hoary
that's-
brother Todd.
that's scandalous.
I'm confused.
Ooh, what if the two Todds ran off together?
That got
What
awkward.
if they touch tips?
Gay stuff.
You sounded like you were going somewhere with that.
Usually I get a lot further into an episode before I'm forced to play that drop.
Usually it comes from me, so this is a nice change of pace.
Is there a song that you are just unfathomably sick of playing, like that Hawaiian song, like Over the Rain. Israel
Konakamaliji Sarjuni. I don't mind that song, actually.
It's
That's
a
great.
delightful song.
Well, you DJ'd my brother's
And
wedding.
I played it there.
And they came down the aisle to that.
I have never been to a wedding that didn't play it. This is a song of the people.
Are you a fat man with a ukulele? Cool, come play at our wedding. Oh, it doesn't matter what you play. We just want you sitting there looking fat with a ukulele.
So people think we're cultured.
So how did you get started being a DJ in the first place?
I was always making mixtapes just for fun. And then I went to college and was making like all these party CDs for like just different people having parties. They'd be like, hey. So I'd go into someone's room while they were like at class and go on LimeWire. And like
God,
making
LimeWire.
I'd
Yes.
make like 5 discs worth of party.
LimeWire gave me my first 100 viruses.
Yes.
At least. And so, yeah, I'd make like party CDs based on the fact that all we had was a 5-disc changer. And so I'd be like, all right, the first CD is going to be as people arrive. What are they going to want?
OAR.
And I have to be like getting into their mind. That was a big song in college.
I am taking us in the way back
Crazy Game of Poker.
Dispatch. All the fantastic favorites.
Guster.
Just to be clear, they haven't made a follow-up to Crazy Game
No,
of Poker.
they did. And
they?
Well, nothing as big.
Turn the Car Around was actually a big
kinda
hit like 10 years ago.
They're like an Adam Sandler
Yes.
Of music. You know, they just consistently produce crap that will make a little money.
God, I want to do that. That is really my goal
It
for
at
this
least
show.
What is it called? What is it called if you make crap that produces no money?
Wild card.
Wild card, bitches! Yeah!
Before, because you're now happily married. Before that, is it just a license to basically kill it at a bar? If you're DJing at a bar, do all the pretty girls come up and ask to play with your knobs?
It depends. I mean, one of the real reasons I got into the nightclub thing was, you know, I got out of school. I was broke. I'm 22. You know, I'm like, how can I keep going to these bars? How can I not have to pay for drinks? How can I not pay for women's drinks? How can I avoid dress code?
I never paid for a woman's drink. Wait, Chris is going to chime in with one too. Wait for it. It's a foghorn.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I'm just not talking anymore. I can't deal with the dual Ataris. You're on your own.
Anyway, yeah, it was just like, how do I solve all these problems? Oh, and like, you know, this music's terrible. How do I control that too? And so, you know, at that time it was like, yeah, there was definitely some interactions going on with the ladies. But honestly, it's such a small window, and really it looks better from the outside. So you're dealing with really drunk people, first of all. So your window is constantly shrinking. So if you have an interested party, it's like, hey, how you doing?
Oh, and you can't leave till really late.
You can't leave till after. So you're like, okay, so check it out.
Yep.
I'm done at 1:30. It's going to take me a little while. I got to get paid out. I got to break down my shit. So if you just... And they're going to kick everyone out and not let you in. So if you don't mind just waiting outside until like 1:50, just wait for me. They weren't there.
But wait. Why can't you just go into the bathroom for 5 or 6 minutes?
Because the song will run out.
Put on November Rain and invite the girl into the bathroom.
Connor doesn't have that problem. You put on a minute and a half long song. And
you run out of time.
You can put on some freaking Buddy Holly and I'll be back in time.
I mean, I often don't even go to the bathroom at these places because there will be a line. I don't have enough time to go there and back. And also, most of the time at some of these places, if it gets wild, you're basically a well-paid security guard guarding a bunch of expensive equipment.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, that's really what you have to be concerned about is some idiot or, you know, a kid coming, you know, a kid at a wedding, which is a whole rule for me. No kids at weddings. Just don't do it. It's rude.
Yeah, they're the worst.
You know, and a couple weeks ago, I had 2 kids. Their dad was an asshole. The kids were assholes, too, because of the dad. Their names were Brody and Ford, which made them even more of assholes.
That's a lot of
And so
hard
Brody's there, just right in front of my turntables, and he's like, what's this? And I'm like, yeah, just, you know, it plays records. What the hell? Get out of here. And he's sitting there peeling an apple. I actually took a photo of Brody because it was just like, you got to be shitting me. This kid is peeling an apple, like, right next to my turntable with his fingers, and every time he retracts his fingers to peel more of the apple, it flings this spritz of, you know, snot, probably some apple juice, onto my gear. And I'm like, come on, kid. Like, one time at a wedding, I was like looking, I'm prepping some songs. The computer is just shaking. Like the lid of the laptop, it was shaking back and forth. I'm like, what the hell? And I pull it down, and there's a kid punching it.
Was that Ford?
Was that Cody?
That was Cody.
Are you able
Yeah.
Jaden. When I take my kid to soccer, it is like
Ace.
I think Ace is actually. I'm not.
I'm pretty
kidding.
sure I know someone with a
Ace
kid named
is
Ace.
One of them. We go to soccer, and it's like these Marin white people where we live. Marin is like. What's a good way to describe it for us, County? It's like Beverly Hills of Northern California. It's these super wealthy white people.
And everybody wants their kid to be a 19th century railroad tycoon.
Basically.
It's like Digsby.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, your choice is
Dumbledore.
urban cowboy. So like Wyatt, Colton, all these.
Oh, right.
Jaden, Jack.
Or
Hayden.
you think, okay, did I ever date a foreign guy when I was abroad in college? What's the word for peace in their language? I'll name him that. But
Sure.
they call out roll, and it's like Ace. Then he comes up, and then it's River, and then River comes up, and then
Namaste.
Apache, and you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, I was thinking, that reminds me of Point Break. They call him Bodhi, short for Bodhisattva. That's Patrick Swayze's character's name, and it's like, it's like naming your kid Namaste.
It really
and
is.
expecting him to go by Nami.
It's almost like, and I don't want this to, I don't know if you know this from the show, Chris, but I am very culturally aware, and my impressions are tasteful, yet accurate. And so I want to preface this with, I am not trying to be
A racist boob?
I'm not trying to microaggress right now,
Oh.
but what I found is white people are doing what black people did maybe 10, 15 years ago when it was like, who could create the most unique, interesting name? Connor, you're giving me a look. No part of what I'm saying is racist.
I'm not
This is
giving you a
true.
look. I'm giving you a slow blink. That's worse than a look.
That means I'm on the edge.
Yeah.
That's
But no, but
disdain.
seriously, part of...
What do you mean, you people?
I didn't say you people. I fucking didn't say you people. No, but there was a saying cultural identity sounds good. There was a cultural identity of creating names that weren't your typical John, Connor, Chris, these names, right? To create a sense of community. That's a good word.
Ooh.
And now I've found that white people have appropriated this, as we will do. And now it's like, who can create the most unique name in your Montessori school?
Right.
I want to have the name that no one else has. I want to find out who was the second supporting actor in Paul Newman's greatest film. Oh, his name was Bub. My kid's getting named Bub.
Yeah.
I like just letting John suffer when he starts going down one of his racist tirade roads. Did you guys, I don't know if you ever watched Chris Matthews on MSNBC, but a few years back, there were some allegations that it wasn't like a Me Too thing, but just that he would say sexually insensitive things on the air. So he would have his earpiece in, and there'd be a person in the booth whose job was to be like, Chris, stop, shut up, you sound like a sexist boob. And you could tell because you could kind of watch him hearing the person in his ear. And I remember one time specifically when he was like, well, the old joke about what happens when you're peeing at a urinal and someone comes up and stands right next to you at the urinal, and then he just starts like blinking and looking away. And he's like, we're going to go to commercial now. That's what I need with John. Just like, nope, stop what you're doing.
I need that for my dad.
You guys both need it.
Just like subtle, like electrocution sort of patch.
Yeah.
That just lets you know when you're starting to get out of hand.
You are wandering down the racist boob road right now.
So did Brody end up applesaucing and destroying your mixing board?
Yeah, I mean, Brody, or no, maybe it was Ford, put my microphone inside of his mouth.
Oh,
And I'm like, kid, that thing was like $1,000, and I have to sterilize it. It was awful. Yeah, so that's always annoying. There was a wedding where this poor fucker, his kids walk, he's waiting there with the ring on the pillow, and I'm sitting there monitoring this ceremony. It's on a beach, so it's sand. Anyway, I look at the corner of my eye, this kid's just flinging the pillow all over this way and that, like it was nunchucks. And then his parents see what's going on. They're like, oh shit. So they look, they're like, and then without saying anything, they both drop to their hands and knees and start going through the sand.
Oh no.
And I'm like, we all know what happened here. And then the groom does like a triple take once he notices, and we're just
no. That's when you're looking for the guy with man tits and a metal detector.
Yeah.
For once, hey, we actually have something for you to find with that thing.
But he's going to want a 50% cut because this is his job.
That's true.
But a team of people then sat there on the beach like it was,
Oh my God.
Now, did they fake it? Like, did somebody like, I put this ring and pretend to put a ring on?
Everyone
for
knew
photos?
what was going on, and they're just like, what the hell are we going to do? Like, they just didn't even explain it.
Yeah.
I was at a wedding once where a friend of mine was a bridesmaid, and she was giving her speech, and she gets up there and she's a couple minutes in and she says, and I really want to thank so-and-so, the groom's mom. And the groom's mom is hammered and interprets this thank you as, oh, I should go get up, take the microphone from the bridesmaid and give a 20-minute rambling drunken speech. And everybody is just like, where the hell did this come from? And the poor bridesmaid, my friend, is standing there like, I guess I'll wait.
Oh, man. There needs to be like a wedding cheat sheet. One, we love that you're in love, but no one really cares.
No, I do not care.
We're here for the music and the food.
Yes.
And so hit a home run on those two. Your ceremony, make it short, sweet, and to the point.
Yes.
No one wants to hear 100 readings from the book of Luke. No one wants to hear a poem written by Braden, Jaden, and Caden.
No one cares.
Also,
no one cares.
No multi-person bridesmaid toasts. If you can't do that yourself, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yes.
I can't stand when they're like, I'm going to say the first word of the sentence, and then Sally's going to say the third.
And then they always want 2 mics, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys are going to share a mic, and it's going to be on a stand.
You know what?
Yes.
You're adults. Learn how to do this on your own. Also, the mic should have a breathalyzer attached to it.
That's
That's a
brilliant.
good idea.
You don't want anyone sober because sober people aren't hilarious, but you don't want anyone over 0.2 either.
Yes. You like a window.
Yes.
Like you
need to
blow
be in the
into
band.
mic,
Point,
and you've got to be if you can drive, you can't speak.
Exactly. It's got to be
But
0.08 to
if you're
0.2.
gonna mow down a family of 8 in a minivan,
Too far.
Too far.
Yeah.
You need like side swipe a parked car drunk.
Tell me the most awkward toast you've had.
My favorite and most awkward was this another brother of the bride. I don't know what the hell's wrong with these guys.
They get jealous.
I called this guy the ghetto werewolf because he just could not be bothered to be dressed in formal wear for any longer than 5 minutes. Started out, you could see him. He's lined up at the altar with all the other groomsmen. He was wearing like, Eazy-E sunglasses, like Lokes, kind of rolling around, like really uncomfortable up there. Did not
Is he
want
high?
Yes. Okay. So he was very, very high. And like the second the ceremony ends, he goes and puts on his like flat brimmed hat that's like tilted to the side with a suit.
Oh God.
And and then it just kind of devolves from there. And then he decided no more dress shoes. Let's wear giant Nikes. And then so the point is I have to
Wait, so he piecemealed his transition?
Piecemeal. Yeah.
That takes such douche.
He had to
forethought.
keep going to his car.
He was going to his car. I was going to ask, did he have like a grocery bag
Yeah,
under the
he
table?
just kept going to his car. So each person wrote their own intro. So I had different index cards in front of me. For the first time I had
Did they
ever...
try to be funny?
Yes.
Oh.
Or
not
really
funny.
self-indulgent. So like when she's not helping the Arizona Cardinals rehabilitate their injuries during the off-season, she adopts animals. And then this guy, please welcome the brother of the bride and CEO of hoodhorkers.com, the only hooded sweatshirt that also has a hookah in it. So I guess horking, as I learned out, is when you hit a hookah. So hood horker.
First of all, if you don't have any employees, you're not CEO of shit. You're an unemployed douche with an idea. So until you have 10 employees, there's no CEO on your business card. That's item 1. Item 2, what the fuck did this guy make? It was a sweatshirt with a hookah?
Well, if you had any questions, he entered the room now wearing it. Okay, there was no suit left. Actually, he had his suit pants.
This was Slow Change McGee?
Yes.
He was hookah.
He's
Hookah
the ghetto
Houdini?
werewolf.
Is there a hookah built into the sweatshirt?
I think you just have a
Like a snorkel?
pocket full of hot coals. I'm not quite sure.
Oh, that's genius.
But no,
It's
so
that genius.
he's
So-
demonstrating as he walks down the stairs because I think all this really ended up turning out to be for him was
it's a sales call.
it was a
This is the biggest
convention.
sales pitch of his life.
It was huge.
Wait,
He
so
was smoking it the whole time. He was getting high during dinner.
my mind is still blown here. Clearly the idea was thought of high. He made a device.
Kudos to him, though, for executing after he sobered up.
But we have to define execution. Did he duct tape a fucking hookah to the front of a Walgreens
it was actually pretty well
hoodie?
crafted, and every now and then, just because I have so much damn respect for this piece of shit, I'll check to see if Hood Horkers is still around.
Hood Horkers.
And it is.
What? How does someone sell enough horks?
Can we pull it up? Can we pull up hoodhorkers.com?
Hood Horkers. I feel like
I'm not sure how Horkers is spelled.
Sorry, HOR.
KERZ.
ERZ. Hold on, Hood Horkers.
Yeah, this is kind of like truck nuts. This is some Humboldt shit.
Is that the homepage?
Products by
did
Hood.
it go down?
Smokable clothing.
Smokable hoodie. Are you actually smoking the jacket?
No, the jacket is just a vessel.
Does it have like a pocket that's lined with an aluminum foil and you can put a charcoal in there?
I still don't really understand how it works. I feel like this was pre-vape pen, but the same technology.
Wait,
Okay,
we've got a video.
We've got a video.
I'm out here trying to get rich. And you just be talking
That's him.
shit.
That's him. Yeah, so there you go.
So, wait,
Okay,
the
you know what this guy's
drawstring?
designed?
The
He's
drawstring is a pipe?
No, he's designed a weed camelback.
This is genius.
Now that I see it, I kind of have completely changed my mind on this. You know how camelbacks are a backpack with
Yeah.
water built in, and
Yeah.
they've got the lanyard?
He's done that with weed.
He's basically...
Wait, can we play that back? So it looks like the
It's
end
actually a bowl. Like
one
you-
end
you
of the
pack
drawstring
bowl.
is actually a bowl.
Yeah, the part that tightens your hoodie.
He's jamming marijuana into the drawstring, and then it looks like he's smoking out of the other end of the drawstring.
Okay, listen, I love it too, but maybe not at your sister's wedding.
No, probably not at your sister's wedding.
All right.
I disagree. That was a captive audience.
How many did he sell?
My hat's
I don't know,
off to
I mean-
Hood Horkers. Here I am thinking some high douche.
Oh,
and
he
it's
was
pure
burning that
genius.
thing like every 5 minutes, cranking cigarettes right outside the door. He came up to me when it was dance time now. This is an hour later. He's wasted.
Wait, product 2, cigarette shirt.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna need a better name. Can we work Horkers into that too? You want to do a quick lightning round, Chris?
Yeah, sure.
Do we have a sound effect for lightning round?
You know what? Actually, give me 1 second.
Can I suggest? That was my lightning sound.
Connor,
Yes.
ask, and you shall receive. It's a dramatic lightning bolt.
That was thunder.
You can't hear a lightning bolt, you
Can?
moron.
Yes, you can.
You cannot hear a lightning bolt.
I believe that you can hear lightning.
You can hear electricity.
Yeah, you can hear the impact.
Yeah, the impact is called a lightning bolt. It's
Yeah.
a concussive shock wave.
Yes, and you can hear it.
That's the thunder, you
Don't use
moron.
concussive shockwave just because Phil Downs used it and now you want to sound tough.
You do realize
I stumped
that
you there.
No, that the thunder is the name of the sound that the lightning makes as it goes through the air. What else? Okay, what is thunder
You
then?
don't- Really? Is that what you think?
What is thunder?
You know
then?
they're two different things, right?
No, lightning is the bolt. Thunder is the noise.
The noise from the lightning, that's what you think?
Yes.
So that's not right.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
Okay, learn me then.
I actually am not 100%.
Yeah,
Can we get some viewer mail on this? I'm like 99%, but I'm worried that John might be right.
You came in awfully hot for
No.
being wrong.
I'm not wrong. I am not wrong. We'll put a pin in that one and come back to it. Okay. We're going to ask our viewers to weigh in on that.
As my wife said earlier today when I was speaking to her about an episode she just listened to, she said, "Your show's really good. That guy Connor's really funny. And he's pretty smart, too." And I said, "Hey, what about me?" And she said, "Yeah, you're fine." So now that she hears how dumb you are, she's going to like me even more.
I'm not wrong. Chris, help me out here. You can have thunder and not have lightning. It's a totally different thing. The thunder is when two clouds of different temperatures and I took atmospheric science like 20 years ago. And you know what? Just go ahead and pull it up on Wikipedia because I am right. It's when two pockets of air of different temperatures meet and it creates this concussive blow. Lightning is a different thing.
Connor, I'll thank you not to use terms like concussive blow on here.
Thunder is not the sound that lightning makes. They are two different things.
Hold on. We're going to look this up
Oh
here. I'm
my
going to look it
God.
up on the iPad so we can play the answer. All YouTube videos, long intro violation.
Thunder is best described
yeah.
as a sharp bang or rumbling sound.
Oi!
It's the sound that comes from lightning quickly heating up air in its path.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did he just say?
Wait. Say that again. And just because he's British does mean he's right.
Yes, it means he's way smarter than us.
Play it again.
I'm skipping the stupid intro.
All right, please.
Damn it, I caught some intro.
Thunder is best described as a sharp bang or rumbling sound. It's the sound that comes from lightning quickly heating up air in its path. Let's look a little closer.
Let's look a little closer.
The intense heating causes the hot air to quickly expand into cool air around it. This makes a shock wave, which we hear as thunder.
You might describe it as a...
And as we know, it can be
wave.
very noisy.
Well, see, we've learned something today.
We did.
Oi! You're a moron!
I can't win them all.
I'm so proud of myself
I
right
really
now.
thought there were two different... God, I'm losing it.
I need something better than this. Just this ding doesn't accomplish.
It really doesn't.
How...
The whistle's got
All right, can we get back to my lightning and not thunder
Okay,
round?
so I'm sorry. I'm taking my time here because I'm just basking in the glow of how red I am because this show, much like my marriage, I've been right once.
What is that? What is that expression? The sun shines on a dog's ass once in a while, or something.
It made you that, but the expression is even a broken clock is correct.
You
twice
are
a
the
day.
dog's ass, and you are getting a sunburn right now. So I want you to enjoy it. Enjoy the light
here's my
of
new
this
saying.
This thunderclap.
Let's rehash the last 15 minutes. Invented blockbuster product that I'm now the CEO of, cigarette shirts. I was right about concussive blows, which you should know much more about than I do.
I feel like you used that joke already.
Damn it! That took all the wind out of my sails.
It took all the thunder out of your lightning. Let's get back to Chris's lightning round. But you don't ever meet with bride and groom, and they're like, whatever. We could just get an iPod, Steve.
Yeah, they've said that, and usually I'm like, you sound like a couple I don't want to work with. Like if that's what you think the DJ is, there's a lot more to it.
An iPod could play Creep.
It might play it out of order.
Of the wedding and just,
What I'm doing is essentially I'm
party.
taking a list of like somebody's favorite 100 songs and I'm putting them in an order that makes sense for that day.
You're a people person.
Like I said, 20% of it.
So you take the orders to the customers?
I read the dance floor and I play the music that makes the people dance. I'm a people person.
So you physically take...
me or my
you
secretary?
physically play the music. Well, no, it's on an iPod.
All right,
but
if we quote any more of this, we're going to have to pay Michael... What's his name?
Mike Judge.
Mike Judge, thank you. What is the most annoying song request you're getting these days?
Well, it depends. The other day, anything Drake, I can't stand that dude. It just sounds like a, auto-tuned fish. But
okay, let me ask you this as a musical person. At what point did sampling the guy who made sounds with his mouth become an acceptable form of rapping? So, like, someone will be like, hey, I was in my car rolling down the street, and someone else goes,
yeah, I was going to put those in here, but I didn't have time. But that what you're describing is Migos and that sound. So it's like, I'll be flossing, always on the run. I don't even, who cares what they're saying? But, my favorite one is when he says, Mama.
Just mama out of nowhere?
Well, the guy will say something like, talking about my mama. Mama.
Sometimes I go back
and those guys.
Now, is there a guy that just makes the noises?
Yes.
And is that like, does he go out at the concert, have a mic on stage, and maybe
there's
4
three
times
of them.
a song he goes,
there's 2 guys that rap, and then he's kind of he does the interjections.
It's like Little John, but worse. I mean, at least he had like a tagline. Like he had 2 things to go to. What and
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes together.
Okay.
He's
got 3.
3. Fucking 3.
Any kind of affirmative response will work. As a big shot wedding and club DJ, do you sell cocaine?
Depends who's asking. I can acquire it very easily.
I do. Seriously, though, I do kind of think of you as like the maitre d' at the wedding.
That's actually a good question. Like, do people come up and ask you for drugs at weddings?
Yes.
I mean,
like what's the strangest drug? Has anyone been like, do you have meth?
No, I've never gotten meth. Usually it's, people want cocaine.
Do you mostly get East Coast finance guys who come up to you at parties and they're just like, hey, yo, I'm in from Long Island. You got any blow?
That actually happened last year at Salesforce, at Dreamforce. This guy is a hot shot from New York. You could tell he's trying to be the
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. And he's just like, yo, you know, I don't know who else to ask, but can you get me Coke? And I was like, yes. Of course I can. I feel like oh man, of course I can. And actually that night I did facilitate. I didn't do it. You know, I stayed there, but I'm like, I know a guy to call. And then he was hooked up. He felt like the boss.
What is your best DJ celebrity encounter?
Oh, probably...
Please be Jeff Goldblum. Please be Jeff Goldblum.
When I played in San Luis Obispo years ago, I was confronted by Chuck Liddell of Ultimate Fighting fame. He was the VIP at this club I was playing at. Apparently, he went there all the time, and he was with two girls. They were talking to me, and he didn't like that, so he put his giant paw on my shoulder and turned me around like, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" And I was just like, and he's like, "I'm just kidding, man." It's like, not funny, dude. This is like 2008. A lot of Affliction shirts.
Fucking tap out, brah.
You know, a lot of buckled shoes. I don't know.
Ed Hardy.
Of rings. And
God, that was a bad
these guys
time.
are just like, yeah, man, you gotta... Well, I don't know what you're doing after. And I was like, probably just going back to my hotel. I don't know, man. He's like, because, you know, Chuck always has an after party. He has one every weekend. He's got a pool. You know, there's usually 50 to 100 people at his place. And I'm like, man, maybe I'll come. It's like, there's this one thing, though. Chuck likes to take Molly and walk around with a boner during his own party.
Naked.
And I was like, so is that...
I'm sorry.
Is that cool? Or, I mean, is that cool with you guys? Like, they just had this whole like, well, that's just how it be. That's just Chuck, you know, kind of like...
Okay, so are they being serious?
Yeah.
Okay, so first I have to say, allegedly. We don't actually know this about Mr. Liddell.
Should we be saying this on the air?
Both because
I don't want to get killed by
and
giant
because
paw man.
he can kill us very easily. But
he could tear my esophagus out with his finger.
Allegedly, these people were being serious that he drops Molly and walks around his house with a stiffy.
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
Clothed or unclothed?
Unclothed, butt naked.
That is an awkward party. You never want to look down the barrel of a gun.
No,
you know, when that thing's loaded. That is a rough look.
And that guy is scary. I mean, you know.
Does Molly cause you to get a stiffy?
Yeah, I don't know. I do enjoy Molly, but I really don't remember that being the trait that sticks with me. It's just
you weren't knocking drinks over on tables and so on.
No, I was able to make it through doorways.
Sorry about your Chablis, honey.
You know the expression "F you money." Like,
yes,
I am so rich, I am going to sit in my rocket chair and have a Tyrannosaurus Rex omelet.
Yes,
like Chuck Liddell has. I don't even know what the term is. It's just like fuck you toughness,
swagger,
whatever. Like, who's going to tell him not to take Molly and walk around with a boner? I'm not going to tell him that.
Well, on that stand-up story, I think we're going to have to wrap things up. Chris, I want to thank you for being part of Wildcard's wedding extravaganza.
Thanks for having me.
We learned many things today, like the fact that men only want women that are uneducated, debt-free, and virginal. We learned that you'd rather go into debt to the mob than my mother. And lastly, keep your snot-nosed brats away from Chris Fox's equipment. And if you're going to be high as a kite at a wedding, the only choice is hood horkers. Connor, any parting thoughts?
I'm just devastated by this thunder and lightning thing. I'm going to go home and cry.
Thanks for listening to another episode. We'll be back next week.
Thanks for listening to Wildcard. See live podcasts and pics from the show on Instagram and Facebook, or visit us online at wildcardshow.com.